quick playoff breakdown. We're finally basically down to the Eastern Conference Finals. And just a quick recap. You're looking at some of these teams like Philadelphia 76ers. Man, basically, they were supposed to win that series in 5 games. They blew 2 of the games where they had leads, one in Atlanta, one in Philly. And, at this point, people feel like this person's to blame, that person's to blame, Doc is to blame, Ben Simmons is to blame. Ben Simmons is to blame in terms of like being so passive. But Doc Rivers has to take a lot of accountability because this is the second year in a row you have a lead in the series. Remember with the Clippers, you're up 3-1. Blew that lead. This year you go with Philly, close out games, couldn't close them out. You do the same exact thing. And the thing with Doc was he never made any adjustments. He didn't adjust the way that Ben Simmons was interacting on the court, running plays. He didn't adjust the way that Joel Embiid was playing down the stretch. He didn't even expand his lineup because you got to remember, Philly had, for example, Shake Milton and all these other guys. They had a lot of other guys that contributed throughout the whole season besides Tobias Harris and Seth Curry that could have really possibly made an impact and just jolted the team a little bit. Get a guy 2 or 3 minutes and see if he helps jolt the team, impact the crowd. He played a very small rotation. Guys got tired, and they basically collapsed. Now, the Atlanta Hawks moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a sight to be seen. Trae Young gets to build on his legacy. And you know what I'm really excited about? The Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. We're finally going to get a new champion crowned. This is going to be the first time in a long time where the champion is now LeBron, Steph, Durant. This is going to be epic to see one of these young guys, like a Paul George, Trae Young, a Giannis Antetokounmpo, a Devin Booker. One of these guys to actually get a ring. CP3 in particular. So moving on, I'm not gonna really bang on Philly because everybody knows that they have to blow it up. That's the way that they play, the way that the organization is set up, trusting the process and all this other stuff. Ben Simmons has to go, really. At the end of the day, he really does. I mean, people are going to bang on him for not shooting, but it wasn't the not shooting part. It's the fact that he just wouldn't attack the basket. He was passing the wide open layups. You can't do that if you're a star player. You can't go through 3 quarters of a game going to have 4 points as a star player. Doesn't make any sense. Milwaukee Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets. And, one of the key things is to ask is, was the Brooklyn Nets season a success? And emphatically, it is no. Hell no. It was not a success because they didn't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they could have been facing Atlanta. And in my estimation, Durant, with the Nets that they were constituted, James Harden hobbled, Kyrie Irving not even playing. Let's just say the whole series would have went that way. We all know it wouldn't because Kyrie would have came back. They would most likely sweep the Hawks, so it would be a 6-game series at most. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't a success because of the fact that being top heavy basically showed them why the super team stuff doesn't work. Now, why is that important? That is important because next year they're going to come back with the same team. Now, who are you going to trade in and out? You can't. And one of the things that really pissed me off about the series was the fact that DeAndre Jordan basically got no burn. They wanted to go small, play Blake Griffin. But DeAndre Jordan, some of the offensive rebound problems that the Brooklyn Nets faced against the Milwaukee Bucks, that would have been solved with DeAndre Jordan in the lineup. Plus, you would be scared to give up the lob. DeAndre Jordan can catch lobs all over the place. So I felt like that was kind of like a slight. Like the guy did come there with KD and Kyrie. He came over there, thought he was gonna make an impact, and Nash basically benched him for the series. And that, to me, that came to bite him a little bit. That really came to bite him. And on top of that, gotta give the Bucks all the credit, man. They fought through it. They made a lot of mistakes down that Game 7 stretch. One of the key ones was that Brook Lopez turnover. Because when I saw that, I was like, okay, now the game's over. Because the Nets are gonna come down, either get a foul on one or hit a three. And KD by this much almost hit a three. That would have basically had the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals. So there's Brooklyn's season was not a success. The Bucks, though, they have to be careful because now they feel like they might be playing an inferior opponent. But the true opponent for the Bucks is themselves. They have to learn how to get past these games and do what they have to do. Like Giannis can't shoot any more threes the rest of the playoffs. He just can't. He can't. He can't. He has to attack the basket. Chris Middleton, he can't be struggling. Drew Holiday, you can't struggle if you want to win a title. And that's essentially what it's going to boil down to. Moving on to the Western Conference, look, man, I got to give hats off to Tyronn Lue and what he did and how he was able to get the Clippers confident and locked in. For them to go into Utah, Game 5, win the game, and close them out at home when they're down 20, 25, most people would have quit. Most people would have quit outright. They kept fighting, and won the game. Kudos to Tyronn Lue. Kudos to Paul George. And kudos to Patrick Beverley because he was struggling mightily through the playoffs, up to the point where he got benched. And for him to come up and hit like 3 timely threes, for Paul George to really lock in on Donovan Mitchell, you know what I'm saying? And like I said before in another video, injuries played a big role. But, you know, if you're there to play. But Donovan Mitchell couldn't be explosive down the court because of the war of attrition on his body. For the Clippers to come back, beat the number 1 seed in the West, I don't think that's really getting a lot of airplay, especially down Kawhi. Like, you would think with Kawhi out, the Jazz are like, all right, it's a wrap. It's a Rizzy. And it was for a minute. 26-point lead, going off at Staples Center. And from then on, they put a zone. They did a couple things, got guys in foul trouble. Paul George went off. It's crazy. And then now you see them playing the Clippers playing the Suns. Even that game, when it felt like it was put away down the stretch, Tyronn Lue was able to maneuver a couple X's and O's and get the Clippers 1 possession away from winning that game. Since they're only down 2 points. So hats off to Tyronn Lue. You know, more hats off to Devin Booker and Monty Williams for adjusting, doing certain things to actually pull that game out without Chris Paul. Because you got to remember, without Chris Paul there, the morale could have went down, but the crowd hyped them up. And Devin Booker played 43 points, triple-double. I mean, just amazing how he did what he did. And for them to pull it out and to gut it out, really, because they kind of collapsed down the stretch a little bit. And then finally, you know, they were able to put the finishing touches on there. I can't say, you know, first of all, I got to apologize to Paul George because all the crap we've been talking to him about him over the years. A lot of it was valid, though, but I feel like somewhere Tyronn Lue is basically the team whisperer or player whisperer. Because you saw when Cleveland was down 3-1, what he did. He just instills confidence in these guys and the belief that you're still a superstar. You can even do what you need to do. Phoenix is up 1-0. But with the Clippers, I'll say this. You can't count them out. Even without Kawhi Leonard, you can't count them out until you put them away. So that's going to be one of the best series. And then over to the East, you know, Atlanta and the Bucks. If the Bucks are serious, they win this series in 5 or sweep them. If this goes to a 6-game series, I know the Bucks aren't serious about winning a title. Whoever comes out of the West, which most likely will be the Suns, will win the NBA title. Because if the Bucks struggle against the Atlanta Hawks, especially with the way that the Bucks play, that is not the way that the Atlanta Hawks. That's not the Atlanta Hawks' strong suit. See, the Atlanta Hawks, their main style of play is run and gun. The Bucks, that's what they love. They're on top of the game when it comes to running and gunning. That's exactly what they want to do. So it's not like the Atlanta Hawks can play a different style of game. They want to run, they want to gun. That's what Giannis wants to do. That's what Middleton wants to do. Transition threes. That's what Holiday wants to do. Transition layups. So the Bucks are better at doing what Atlanta does. So if they struggle to beat Atlanta, just forget, or Atlanta advances, they need to just blow it up and Giannis, whatever the case. But I feel like Giannis finally overcame the hurdle of trying to beat a player like a LeBron James or Kevin Durant. I feel like he has all the confidence in the world, and that's not going to slow them down. So we are at the forefront of a new champion. We're going to get a new story to tell our kids, the loved ones, grandkids, and we're going to see some good basketball, Barring injury, Kawhi Leonard's not there. That really hurts everything. But we still been able to get great basketball without Kawhi Leonard playing. Now let's just say this is not as bad as the ACL tear as the people are thinking. Maybe it's still a sprain, but they're keeping cards close to the vest. Let's just say Kawhi Leonard is able to come back. That changes the narrative a lot. Hoop Structure, Hoops Meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.